Lights, camera, action. Okay, let's get this timer set up real quick. Good morning, everybody. Today is August 21st, and it is 9:30 a.m. Get a timer going. Play. Okay. So I'm guessing that you guys have watched my previous 3 episodes. If you haven't, then I recommend going back and starting with those before you proceed forward. So it's been, today's Wednesday, and I did my last recordings last Sunday, and the 3 videos that I've shared Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is from Sunday's recordings, if you guys haven't already put that together. It's taken quite a bit of my time getting all of that done. You account for the fuel it takes to drive up here into the mountains, so I can have my privacy and do this without being bothered. So that costs a little bit of fuel, and about 45 minutes to get up here. And then gotta do all the prep to get the camera stuff set up. And then however long I talk, so for example, this last weekend I recorded, about 3.5 hours worth of speaking, so that's a lot of speaking. There's nobody around me, so I'm pretending that this camera on the tripod is you, a person, somebody that I'm having a conversation with. I've always been told that, nobody's ever told me it, but I've learned, through reading and just things I've attained along the way, that anyone that has a message to spread, say somebody just has something really important to share with people in general, we should be speaking. We should always speak the same as if you're talking to one person. It shouldn't make a difference if you're talking to one person or if you're talking to 1 million people. You should speak the same. People should not change who they are just because of the number of people that they're talking to. You should just always be who you are at all times. So that's kind of the perspective and that I'm rolling with as I'm speaking to a camera. I don't have a person here that I'm talking to that I can interact with, and nobody to ask me questions as I'm going. So as I'm speaking, if I mention something, I don't have anybody around to ask me elaborate further, or to slow me down and ask me a little bit more about certain things before I keep proceeding forward. So everything that you're hearing, it's just as I'm speaking, I'm also trying to be mindful of what I'm going to talk about next. There's so many. If you could just imagine my brain trying to not only convey the message clear to you, it's like I'm speaking, but also it's like the input and the output at the same time, trying to juggle that simultaneously to deliver a clear message. It's very time consuming. So like I said, I recorded 3.5 hours this last Sunday. Today, this is the very beginning of my day. I've been up since before sunrise. Took Milwaukee for about a 2-mile walk, went and got breakfast, and then pretty much just drove straight up here into the mountains. So I've been pretty busy so far. But those 3.5 hours I recorded since Monday and Tuesday, I've pretty much been working all day long, getting all 3 of those videos assembled, that little bit of text added, and once you get the video assembled within Adobe Premiere, that's the video editing program that I use, you got to encode it, which means all the different components within the video. It's like assembling a puzzle within this within the program, and then when you're ready to have the video done, I think it's called encoding, which makes it a final video format. So once I have that, then I gotta have, because I'm in my van, I don't have internet connection from my laptop unless I go find free Wi-Fi somewhere. And the public library has been the place I've been going that I can just hang out outside and have Wi-Fi connection. And each video that I uploaded, this last Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, each one took about 2 hours just to get it uploaded to YouTube. So that's probably about 6.5 to 7 hours of just sitting around waiting for the file, because each video is like, because I'm uploading it in 4K, the highest quality resolution I can do. So each video's between, I think the first one was around 30 gigabytes, the second one was like 50 gigabytes, and the third one was around 35 gigabytes. So all of this is requiring a lot of memory and space, storage. I'm going to have to delete stuff as I'm going just in order to allow myself to bring new stuff onto my computer as I'm going, which means I'll probably delete all the most irrelevant stuff or things I've already used that I probably won't ever use again. I'll just start with those. Everything from stock footage of just pictures and stuff I've taken along the way. So with that said, this is very time consuming. So once I'm done recording today, I'll probably, I'm probably going to do about 4 hours worth today, which means once I'm done, the next few days is going to be a process of, rinse and repeat, do this same repetition as far as, okay, I got the recordings done, now eventually I got to go make time in town and get everything assembled and then encoded into a final video, and then I got to watch each video just to review it and make sure it's good, and then I got to go to the library. It hasn't been really, this project, everything that I've been intending to do has not really left much room for me to go out and have any fun. Since I've left Oregon, it's around 6 weeks. I think it's around 6 weeks now. It's been 6 weeks in the van, and I haven't had any fun yet. This whole time I've been gone, I haven't been out here having fun. I've been trying to stay focused on my task, on this, everything that's on my plate right now. That's pretty much where all of my attention has been placed. So I haven't even been allocating any time to go have fun, even though I'm in one of the most beautiful areas in the entire United States. I mean, there's a ton of beautiful places in the United States, but Grand Teton National Park, it's up there. It's one of the most beautiful places in the United States. And even though I'm here, I've probably only been out to the national park to look for wildlife probably about 6 times. Not a whole lot. I've mostly just been hanging out in specific areas, following a routine that is allowing me not only to eat, I'm trying to stay close. I'm not trying to drift too far away from town. That way I can get food as I need it, and I'm not wasting fuel just driving long distances back and forth. And I'm trying to, pretty much every move I'm making every single day, it's a strategic move, and everywhere I go throughout the day, I'm accounting for a lot of variables. At the same time, I'm trying not to venture off all over the place, even though I want to go in every single direction, just go explore. I'm not doing that because me kind of staying in one area makes things easier for my friends and supporters who are keeping me safe. That way they don't have to scramble, try to figure out what the hell I'm doing, and have to mobilize people that have to also drive vast distances. If I stay in the same area, everybody who is involved with protecting me and keeping me safe, everybody can pretty much we can all work in one confined, one general area. I'm just trying to make things as easy as possible for law enforcement and military and everybody that's involved with all of this. Just trying to make it as easy as possible for you guys. It's kind of why. I mean, if anybody who's in this general area is keeping eyes on me, and you guys are watching this video at some point, pretty much a big reason why I haven't been going out into the national park and stuff is, the more I drive around, it just means that you guys have to. It's more moving parts for you guys to keep up with me, more resources and manpower and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just trying to minimize that so you can allocate your resources towards more important things. So that's me trying to be considerate of all of you. I think that pretty much summarizes all of that. I wanted to mention something before I start really getting into continuing with where we left off in the story. As far as YouTube, I don't know if, however many of you, I really don't know how many people are watching my videos. From my perspective, I don't know what you guys see from, wherever you're at when you're watching my YouTube videos. I don't know what you see on your screen as far as likes, views, and statistics and stuff. But from my screen, from whatever device I'm viewing YouTube from, I'm logged into my account, so every time I open YouTube, whatever I watch is associated with my account. So, anytime I just gotta click on a button and I can go to my homepage. But from my perspective, pretty much every single video I've shared, most of them are, especially like the last 7 of them, like none of them have broken 100 views. And my episode 1, when I first started writing this story, about 18 months ago, when I first shared that video, that one has the most views out of everything I've shared since I've been released from my 12-month incarceration. That one had the most views, and for the longest time I've been it's kind of been a mystery for me, because ever since I've been released from parole and all that and started getting a little more engaged with social media, I don't care about followers. First and foremost, I don't care about followers, I don't care about views, and I don't care about comments, as this has nothing to do with seeking validation or attention or feedback or anything. It's just an observation I'm making. But if you think about before I got arrested and before my Instagram account got shut down, I supposedly had like around 11,000. I think at the highest point it was like 11,300 or 400 followers. And then when things started going downhill, my follower count started falling. People started unsubscribing. I don't even know if the numbers are real to begin with, so it's not really, that's not the point I'm making. I don't believe the numbers are real, but what I'm really getting at is, before I got arrested, there was a large audience of people who were supposedly following my social media pages and who were aware of what's going on. But once my pages got deleted, pretty much all contact got cut, meaning anybody who's been following me, no matter how hard you tried contacting me or reaching out to me, your messages were not reaching me. There was some type of interference in the middle that was intercepting all of your messages, and I wasn't getting them. It took a while for me to tune into that, but I eventually caught on that a lot of messages and things that people were trying to send me were not coming to me. And this hasn't changed since I've been out. However many people have been aware of me and my bits and pieces of my story since I've been arrested, I don't know how big that has grown as far as people talking and sharing with each other and just this story spreading. I don't know how vast it is. Because from my perspective, ever since I've been released from my incarceration, my follower count has not changed at all. It's only gone up, like fluctuated up and down, just to like single digit numbers. When I got arrested, I was around like 500, between 550 and 600 followers. And today, it's still in the same range. It goes, I think the last time that I have been notified of a new subscriber was like back in February. Ever since all this time I've been sharing stuff from my shoes, even so, for example, even if you have subscribed to my page, from my shoes, from my perspective, those numbers are not reflected for me to see. So I'm saying you might see a different number than what I'm seeing, or it might be the same. But no matter how many people are subscribed to my page, there's this, it's like a fake number. It's 500, not like 80 or something. You can't quote me because I haven't looked for a while. But the same thing goes with the view counts and the comments. So another example, my first video that I shared, episode 1, I think, Welcome to the Rabbit Hole. When I first shared that one had the most views overall out of everything I've shared since then. And it almost made it to about 500 views. And then at some point it stopped. From my perspective, I have not seen an increase since, even though I have shared a bunch of new content, new things for you guys to watch since then. That number has not been changing. If anything, it has actually gone down, where at some point it was really close to 500, and then now it's like down to 580 something. So there is some type of meddling taking place. It's an illusion. Just cut and dry. That's what it is. It's an illusion. And the same thing goes for comments. From my perspective, out of everything I've shared over the last 18 months, I think I've only received maybe 3 comments total from anybody. There has been times where whenever somebody leaves a message or a comment on any of my videos, I get a notification on my email. Not every time, but sometimes. I'll get a notification on my email saying, oh, somebody left a comment. You want to reply? And I can read what the message is without actually having to go to YouTube. But when I do go to YouTube to reply, the message isn't there. It's gone, and it's been deleted by somehow, some type of mediary that is making these messages invisible to me, at least. Again, I don't know what you guys can see from your perspective, but from my perspective, as I've been sharing everything that I have, nobody has been messaging me for my shoes. It appears that nobody has been messaging me. It appears nobody has been watching my videos. It appears nobody has been subscribing to my page. And it's just, there was 4 ATVs today. They're going out on their rounds, a little bit of patrol maybe, or are they just out here recreationally? Either way. My perspective and belief is that there might be hundreds, potentially thousands of people who have tried sending me messages. Oh, wait a moment. Wait for these guys to zip by. My perspective is that if there's potentially like, you say I'm just picking this out of the hat. It's not, how much time I got? I got 1:13. Let me stop real quick and start over. That way I don't mess it up. My perspective on the numbers that I'm seeing on YouTube, as far as how it appears nobody's watching my video, how it appears nobody's sending me any messages, and how it appears nobody is subscribing to my page. I believe it's all just it's some type of protective thing for me, whether it's my friends who are who are doing it, I believe that if there is any type of reason behind it, it is because if, say, theoretically there was not some type of protective barrier in place, and anybody and everybody had free access to send me message at any time during the day, they could say whatever they want. Over a long enough period of time, I would be reading all of these messages. Just say this is going on. Say, just pretend this is a time frame of 2 years. Where over a period of 2 years, everybody and anybody and everybody who's ever sent me a message, say theoretically I was able to read it and engage. Imagine how distracting that would become for me to get the things done that I need to accomplish. If, say, for example, every single morning I wake up and I open my phone and I have, say, 10 messages of people asking questions or writing me emails of any type of length, just imagine how time-consuming that would be for me to respond to every single person. So that would eat up a chunk of the day, and then I'd have my regular responsibilities as far as taking care of Milwaukee, taking him for his walks. I got to get my breakfast. I got to take care of my hygiene. There's a whole long list of things that I got to do just to take care of myself, and then think about the work that I'm trying to get done and trying to accomplish, how time-consuming that is. So, say if just in the morning I spend all this time replying to people, great, I got it all done. Say, theoretically, I reply to everybody, good. Now I can go do the other things that I do. At some point, I'm going to keep getting more messages, and if I wasn't careful, I could just spend all day on the phone, texting people, writing messages on social media or from my computer, just spending all day long talking to people and not focusing on what needs to get done. The bottom line is, if you're somebody who has repeatedly tried messaging me over the years and you've never heard back from me, I want you to know that I probably never even saw your message. Whether it was an email or you left a comment on YouTube just trying to get a hold of me, there's a good chance that I never even saw it. Just never. Because if just say, for example, it is my friends who are playing mediator, like they're the ones that are deciding, making these decisions because they understand the big picture and they know I won't get upset about it because we're on the same page. Like I'm not, if this is true, and my friends have been playing mediators for years and just not allowing any of these messages to come through, I'm not mad. I mean, it would be nice. It would have been nice. It would be nice to know. Here's the camp host. I mean, like it would have been nice all this time to be able to communicate with people, but I understand why this decision would have been made if this is true. And with that said, I'm just saying, if you're somebody who's tried to reach out to me and I've never replied, just don't be offended, because A, I never even saw it, and B, you should understand, if I was getting all these messages, I probably wouldn't be here today because I would just be entirely distracted. And then at the same time, you'd probably have bad guys leaving all kinds of messages, writing things that aren't true, just to mess with my head and get me thinking things that aren't accurate. And so they would be able to, influence me indirectly through social media if they had the ability to leave comments on my page, which is why I feel like the times that I have received notifications for a comment, but then when I go look, it's just not there, it's been deleted. It may have been a message that somebody left that my friends did not necessarily want me to get worked up about or get all involved with, so they just got rid of it. Who knows? Maybe not. But I just know that every time I share, these most recent videos that I've shared, like from my shoes, only like 20 people have watched it. But when I'm in town, You know, when I'm in town in Jackson, it's just as I'm going throughout the day, it's so obvious that there's so many people who know who I am, how friendly people are, how friendly everybody's being to me, like they know who I am. They're still playing, still playing this game like they're pretending like they don't know me, but it's fucking obvious. I think it's funny. Some people, with their dogs, we talk and stuff in the evening. I always take Milwaukee for a walk, and there's people out with their dogs, and every once in a while I meet some nice people and let the dogs play and stuff, and it just seems like everybody who I've met over these past few weeks, like, just my intuition's telling me that they know who I am, but they're just pretending that they don't know me, and so they're just, we're just having conversation, like, light conversation, while we let the dogs play, and then that's kind of what it's been like. This last Monday, when I shared my first video, my introduction video, or my first video where I'm in front of the camera, right after that video went live on YouTube for people to watch, I think it was probably within a half an hour of driving my van to an area in town where I was planning on sleeping for the night. When Milwaukee and I got out of the van, we start walking through this park. It's a pretty big park, nice and open. As soon as we get out, here comes this helicopter, really low and slow. Just, it's just obvious that my friends and supporters are happy that I've shared these videos that I have, and they're just pretty much just kind of like, here we are, we're behind you 100%, and the helicopter's over here, so I imagine he's got a camera, and he's recording me, looking up at him, wave at him, acknowledging him, and then so that means whoever, you got the pilot and the camera guy, so whoever they're streaming to, everybody who's watching that, they're all pretty excited, because I imagine everybody who's on our team, the good guys, everybody's probably all being allowed to watch these videos at some point. They're allowed to see all this footage at some point, and everybody's pretty excited because things are going in our direction finally. At least that's how I feel. I feel like the bad guys are terrified, like all of them. I feel like they're really scared right now because they know they've really fucked up, and now there's no turning back. Like the game is turned, and now we're the ones doing the pursuing. We're the ones hunting them down. Not me. I'm not doing it. I've just given the military and law enforcement and federal agencies my blessing, telling them that they can do whatever they need to do to take care of all the bad guys that they've identified that are involved with this shit, involved with the chaos and all the corruption and everything that's wrong with this world, that they've had all this time to get those who are responsible identified and located, and then pretty much every single one of them are marked. I'll explain what being marked means at a later time. But it's essentially if you're a bad guy and you're marked, it doesn't matter where you go, what you do, no matter how sneaky you think you are, everything you do is being monitored 24/7, all day long, 7 days a week, 30 to 31 days out of the month, 365 days out of the year, and this has been going on at least since I've been in custody, at least since I got arrested in 2019. Everybody who's been identified since then, mark, you're marked, and you, like a giant spider web. And then after you're marked, no matter what they do, everything's being watched. And then whoever they talk to, whoever they recruit, whoever is secretly involved at some point when these people who are marked and those who are unmarked, when they cross paths and make their plans, anybody who's unmarked, now you're marked, and you're marked, and you're marked, and you're marked, and you're marked. All of you are marked. So this has been going on for a long time, and now that we're here now, and things have happened that the way that they are, which has progressed to me being here right now, speaking to you, is a product of them blundering the game, trying to entrap me. I fucking caught on to what they were doing, and right after I caught on is when my friends appeared to let me know that they're watching my back. And since then, it's just been this very fast progression of me tuning into what my friends have been doing all this time, even though nobody's told me. I've just been tuning in, and now we're the ones that are going on the offensive. We're no longer people that have been afraid, or as far as the good guys, everybody who's been afraid and terrified and who's been fighting for their own lives. Now everybody's excited because you guys know that I'm no longer stuck in the traps that they've had me in. I'm no longer mentally tricked by the illusion. I'm aware of what's going on, which means now I can also go on the offensive. It's like, all right, guys, let's get them. It's time. And so, it is time. As far as I'm concerned, they can make their moves whenever they want. As far as once you got those 3 names I've listed, those are the obvious ones. But then if you think about layers, just imagine the pyramid. The pyramid, you got those at the top that think they're untouchable. Name 3 of the names. I don't know if that's all of them. Those are just the 3 that I have personally met and know about. I'd say you start with those 3, and then you work your way out or down, and then you take out their next, the next layer of their leadership. If you think about military rankings, so you got the highest people, their leaders. Then you probably got like your generals, and then you got your captains and lieutenants and all the way down to your private, your foot soldiers that are just pretty much cannon fodder for the bad guys. But once the good guys have the top identified and these next highest layers identified, if you can take out the bulk of that leadership, everything below that, all of those who are down there who are looking up to them for their orders and for direction, and when things go south, they can look to, a higher rank for the answers. If you remove that, then it's just going to become a disorganized clusterfuck amongst whoever's left of the bad guys, which is pretty much time to open season. Just go wherever they're at, military, law enforcement, you have them all identified, just go get them. If they surrender, just slap some handcuffs on them or zip ties, throw them in a van. But if they fight back, you guys have my blessing, just put a bullet in their brain. It's pretty straightforward. Law enforcement, military already knows all this, but I'm just saying it in front of the camera just to kind of get everybody excited that's on my team. Like, go have fun with it. You don't have anything to be afraid. You have my blessings. And I've said that once this war is over, at some point, everybody who's been fighting, at some point, once it's all over, we have whatever you've done. There's nothing pretty about war. War can get pretty bad and ugly. And so even the good guys, as they're fighting this stuff, they're gonna see things, and then their adrenaline, everybody who's in it, their adrenaline's gonna get carried away. You're gonna want revenge. If you're one of the victims of these bad guys and you've had family members that are victims, you'll probably want to get your revenge on those who've done bad to you, this is your time frame to get it out of your system. If I were to, generalize what I'm saying, this is a time frame where you have permission to do what you need to do to the bad guys, and you're not going to be judged for it. You're not going to be condemned for it, as long as you're making the right decisions and you guys aren't just going rogue and becoming like the point is not you. The whole point is you don't become the monsters that you're fighting. We're here to destroy evil. Just get it out of here so everybody who's good does not have to deal with it anymore. But where I'm going at is with this, everybody who's fighting, all the fucked up shit that you experience and witness and are a part of during this time frame, when it's all done, at some point you have to let it all go. You can't carry that violence with you. It's just something it's going to be part of you. It's not something you can ever get rid of. It should be something that should empower you, knowing what you're capable of if you ever get called to arms again, knowing that you have an entire army, and everybody who's fought, we've been in this war before, and we'll just fucking clean house again if it ever comes down to it. But once this current war is over, the point is for everybody who's been fighting, including me, is we have to let all of that go, and we just have to go live our lives. Once this war is over, the next phase is going to be about healing. It's going to be about healing everybody who is either injured, physically, spiritually, or mentally. If you're just to summarize it into just a general thing, it's healing everything about this world that's been broken and corrupted and lost. As far as my perspective, that's what I feel like should happen once this war is over. Getting everybody on the same team. Try to get everybody to stop fighting. Whatever skin color you are, wherever you're at in the world, whatever language you speak, whatever upbringing you've had, it's just about your specific tests, and it's also a product of just you having to live in circumstances that have been out of your control. I mean, this world has been fucked up beyond belief for a long time, and a lot of people, the lives where they're currently at in life is a product of how bad this world is, and a lot of the mistakes people have made is a product of the circumstances that we have all been in while living in this situation, which is why so many things, people that have done bad things, why a lot of people, as long as they acknowledge what's going on and they turn to the good side, which is why everybody who does this, majority, all of your mistakes are entirely forgivable. There's no reason to hold you guilty for things that were going on in this world that were out of your control, and you were just responding based off the circumstances. And if the world was a good place and things had say the world was a good place and things were not as they are now, many of the mistakes that people have made in the past would have never done those things. But they only did them because this life is hard. It kind of sucks. In this current state, things suck. It's not enjoyable. I mean, it's all about your attitude and stuff, and we can make things enjoyable, but just overall, for everybody in general, this life isn't enjoyable. It's kind of like the consensus. Seems like the people who are enjoying life are the people that have, they have a lot of money, so they don't have to go through the struggles that all the people who don't have money are going through. And I see that all over the place. I see 100 people struggling, and then I'll see one person who has a shit ton of money who just in their own little world, doesn't seem to give a fuck about anybody else, doesn't acknowledge. I notice that stuff, and those are the kind of people I'd love to have a talk with. Those people that just think they're above everything. Waiting for that special day when I get to talk to all these fucking guilty people that thought they were going to get away with it. At some point I get to talk to all of them. We get if Jerry Durgan ever gets taken into custody, that's my dad, Jerry Durgan. I'm Brandon Durgan. My father is Jerry Durgan. If he ever gets taken into custody, I can't wait for the next conversation I have with him, and just let him know how disappointed I am in everything and his decisions. Just tell him how disappointed I am in him, and then eventually just send him on his way to his final destination, which is where he'll stay forever. I already know where my father's heading. I know where he's heading. As far as once he's no longer alive. Same with all these other guilty people. I know where they're heading. I've seen it with my own eyes. Alrighty. I ended up changing locations. The wind was starting to pick up, and the wind always messes with the audio on the camera. Just blows inside where the microphone is on the side, and it just creates a lot of distracting noise. So even if you hear any wind, it's pretty much the best I can do. Otherwise, I just don't record it all. If I'm just gonna wait on the wind, I mean, it's not like I can go indoors to somewhere to do this, unless I decide to eventually set the tripod up inside my van and talk inside my van. Maybe I will at some point, just to change the location for you guys. That's one thing I'm trying to keep in mind is I'm hoping, each time I share a video, I'll give you a different type of background to look at and enjoy. As you can see, I put up the POW flag and I put up the American flag. I just did it intentionally for, they're symbolic, especially at this point in time where we need unity and people to rally more than anything. Especially the law enforcement and military and all our military veterans. Many of you who are, if you're watching this and you guys have served, I can imagine you all have lost friends in different ways, in combat, suicide, natural death, all kinds, whatever. You guys have watched your friends and family suffer on account of all the shit. So, and then I also got them for me too. I mean, I've been fighting my own battles. So that's what the flags are about. Just try to get everybody rallied together. United we stand. United we stand. Divided we fall. That's what we've been taught since we were little. And division is the first thing that the bad guys want in order to achieve their goals. They just want everybody divided and fighting amongst each other. With that said, it's been probably about 45 minutes since I stopped speaking on the last cut. I ended up taking him for a little walk down the road and crossed paths with the camp host. He was coming down the road in his ATV and he stopped and we talked for a little bit. He's a really nice guy, Kevin. I believe that's his name. Anyways, so I was just gonna mention one more thing before I jump into from where we left off on the last episode, and then I'll probably be speaking for multiple hours by the time I'm done recording today, and then I'll have quite a bit of work ahead of me to get everything I've said today put into a few segments, videos for you to watch. It'll be broken up into a few segments and then getting all that shared on YouTube. It's a time-consuming process. I've already talked about this. But the last thing I wanted to mention was, how I've kind of been saying how there's a lot of people around me who, from my perspective, it seems like people know me. Here in Jackson Hole, seems like I've said it, I have people watching my back. And so you're the ones who I'm speaking to now. So if you're watching this and you're based out of Jackson Hole or Jackson, and you see me out and about, whether I'm in town or out in the national park, or like I'm up here in the mountains, and you're out and about and you see me, don't be afraid to wave at me or give me a head nod or say hello if I'm in a place where it seems like an opportunity where I'm not really occupied with anything. Feel free to come by and say hello. Say hi to Malaki. You can pet him. He's really friendly. There's been quite a few people who have said hello in the last few weeks. They haven't been direct saying that they know who I am, but my intuition says that they do, and so we've kind of just interacted amongst each other anonymously, but still having pleasant conversations. Seems like a lot of people really like Malaki here in town. I see so many people when they see him, they get these big smiles on their face, or if they're with their friend or with their family members, they'll be like, "Oh, look, it's a dog! Look at the dog!" Or they'll look, "It's Malaki." I notice it. Sometimes I'm wearing sunglasses. But I'm always using my peripheral vision. So, like, if people are over here, I might be it might appear like I'm looking straight, but I can see people looking at me or looking at him and smiling and snickering and talking amongst each other as I'm passing by or driving by or something. You know, I'm noticing these things. So if I'm right about all that, and you're someone that's in town and you see me, I won't bite. You're welcome to say hello. You're welcome to say you know who I am. I'm not at this point in the game. Like, if you know who I am, you're welcome to just say you know who I am, and that way we don't have to play this kind of anonymous game. Because right now, if from my shoes, anybody that I interact with or cross paths with, hold on, it's kind of a little bit of wind. Just kind of wait for it to die down a little bit. The vehicle, see if he waves at me. I'll just cut this little bit out. Anyways, I was saying, I don't bite, so, and anybody that I'm interacting with, if you cross paths with me and you wanna talk to me, as of current, what I'm currently doing, if somebody that I'm talking to doesn't outright tell me that they know me, then I'm just gonna pretend, and I just pretend that they don't know me, and that, we're just like kind of like a random anonymous interaction. And because of the path that I've been down, I don't just start talking about stuff, because if somebody doesn't know me and they're not psychologically prepared for anything that I might have to share, I don't even want to open those doors. So pretty much all I resort to is small talk, and if anybody asks me anything personal, if they don't acknowledge that they know who I am and they ask me anything personal about like where I'm living or if I'm working or anything, I'm not necessarily just gonna outright tell people what I'm up to, because if they're not aware, then I don't want to disrupt what they got going on in their life, because you open that door, they're just, some people aren't prepared for that. So what I'm saying is, if you know me and you cross paths with me at any point and you just want to chat, the best thing you could do is just tell me that you know me, and then that way I know you're caught up to some capacity, like you're familiar with me, and we don't have to play some type of game. Like, don't have to play the game, and then you can just be direct and just say whatever you want. Like, I won't get offended. If you have a burden or something you want to get off your shoulders, or there's something you need to tell me, or something you want to share with me, or whatever, say whatever you want. Like, this is your opportunity to, with these videos, to read my energy and know what my personality's like. So, if you ever do find me in real life, I'm not going to be a different person. I'm still going to be me, the same person speaking on the camera. So I'm saying, if you want to talk to me and you know how to find me, it just takes your own courage to come say hello. Whatever occupation you have, even if you're law enforcement, military, if that's your occupation, you should understand I have no beef with law enforcement or military or any of that, and I'm actually looking forward to meeting you guys at some point. Hopefully in the right way, not in the bad way, but in the right way, and you guys can all tell me what you've been up to. I would love to hear your guys' stories as far as your guys' perspectives on, because if this is a war and I have friends out there fighting this war, you guys have seen some shit, and you guys have learned some things. You guys have witnessed stuff that I have no awareness of, and so I'm saying that I would look forward to hearing about all of this whenever that time comes. Whenever you guys get the go-ahead from, I'm guessing, I know, I have an idea who's directing the whole thing. As far as the good guys, who's who's in charge of the whole shebang, keeping all the good guys organized and coordinated. I know I have a pretty good idea of the person who that is, and I'm looking forward to meeting him again, seeing him again. It's been a long time, but I'm guessing until he gives the go-ahead, the majority of people who don't know who, or majority of my friends and supporters, feel like most of you guys are not. You guys are not have not been given permission to just outright come forward and talk to me as if you know everything about me. And I'm not offended by that. I know there's a clock counting down, and everybody's just doing their jobs while we everything gets put in motion, prepared, pieces get put in place, so to speak. But I'm just clearing that air whenever that time comes, and you know who I am, and we happen to cross paths. Like, you don't have to be scared of me. You know who I am based off what you've seen from these things, and you're welcome to come say hello. So, with that said, I'm feel like I'm ready to continue forward with the story, and I'm gonna cut the video and reset the clock.